Hello and welcome everyone to a Division 7 match between Northern Illinois University versus Florida State University. So Northern Illinois is actually undefeated. I believe they're 4-0-1 out of the first 5 rounds. Only tying one match so far. Florida State, I believe, is either 2-3 or 3-2, something like that. It's pretty even. So I believe Northern Illinois should be the favorite, although they did have to make a substitution penalty. Essentially, after submitting their roster, they had to make a change, and that actually cost them a penalty point. So they have to win 9-7 if they want to win the match, because that one penalty point will be actually 8-7. If they only win 8.5 to 7.5, that one penalty point will end in a draw between the two teams at 7.5 points each. So Florida State could have some chances here, even though Northern Illinois is, on paper at least, the better team. Here we already have a match between Salmon and Hot Grill. Hot Grill is Austin Inslee, the board 2 from Northern Illinois. And Salmon is Sam from Florida State. And Sam is actually Florida State's leader. Let me make sure I'm following all the players, because I only am seeing this one board right now. Okay, we've got 3 more. We have Tasabu versus Booker Moore. A couple trades here on F3, but Tasabu is the leader from Northern Illinois, the board 3 ace. I don't know if that's, I assume that's Frieders. Maybe it's Frieders. I'm not sure. So I'll just be calling him Tasabu, which I'm probably not even saying that right, to be honest. Maybe it's Tasabu. Not that there's that much of a difference. But anyways, we have opposite side castles here, which is always very exciting. Essentially, black is going to use these kingside pawns to attack white on the king side, and white can use their queenside pawns to attack black on the queen side. So this is an exciting match here already. We have an open D file for white. Maybe putting the rook here, trying to play for E5 would be very good. Going after this pinned pawn to the queen. Instead, no, we have A4, which is also pretty thematic in the position, just going for A5, A6. And yeah, black, on the other hand, is doing the exact same thing on the other side of the board. Also, rook D1 will allow for knight C5 even. It's just pretty annoying. Actually, yeah, this with this and that is very deadly. But that's a couple moves that white's going to have to put in. But yeah, computer's actually calling for rook A to D1, which is very interesting. So yeah, A5, black puts the stop to that, playing A6. You don't want to see this pawn go any further. This doesn't create a flight square because the king cannot go to A7 because of the bishop. But the knight goes here, very interestingly. But this is getting out of the way of the B pawn. So white wants to just continue. B4, B5. Say, I don't care if you played A6. I'm just going to bust open this king side. So, and yeah, black meanwhile, they cannot play G5. I mean, maybe they could, but bishop takes would be win of material for white. And this does open the G file, but I think white could just play like H4. So the knight goes back, and the idea is to open up this bishop so that they can then play G5. G5 is on the board. G4 is going to come with tempo, and it's going to be very annoying to deal with. But black might be a little faster. Instead, they grab on F7. So they're grabbing on F7. That is a free pawn for the time being. G4 on the board from black. And now B5 from white can be played. We have a player here, the top player from Florida State, Monroe Manning, also known as Joe Mama 699, a crowd favorite for sure. And I might be a little biased because my name is Joe as well. But you know, The top board from Florida State, they are 1,700. They should be the favorite here. This is a board 4 from Illinois, but looks like black is playing, or yeah, white's playing solid. We have bishop versus knight. This knight is pinned to the queen, so the queen steps out of that pin. I like this move, going for this as well. Yeah, white likes it too. Joe also has a time advantage as well as a pawn advantage. They're up a pawn already, so after the queen gets out of the pin, the knight advances, hitting the bishop, so probably you want to go bishop back. And you got to make sure you don't go here, because that is a free piece. So knight e5 would be a big blunder. It's tempting because it hits the queen, but bishop takes and the pawn is pinned. So the queen steps off the d file. Now they can play knight e5. Also, just trying to get the queen trade in. If white takes the queen, then the black pawn will open up. But I think white's probably going to go for this material grab here. You can take on c7. Black could take on a2, but then we can take on b7. Although after taking, there could be some ideas of bringing the rooks in to attack the queen, but b7 is hanging, so white just equalizing the material here. And now rook here, very interestingly, just defending d6, but the b7 pawn is now hanging. So Ott might be getting some upset points here for Northern Illinois, which would be huge for them. Anytime a board 4 can get any production in the first 2 rounds is huge for that team. So let's see. The queen is hit. This rook also hits the pawn on c3, but probably queen takes b7. So instead they go here, defending the pawn. This also puts pressure on a7, but I think taking would have been best. Taking, because after they take here, then we can also take here as well, and then we'd be left with an outside pass pawn, which is very valuable. So black defends the a7 pawn. They go a6. Let's tune into another game here. We can go back to Tasabu versus Booker Moore. Looks like this is winning for white. This bishop is pinned to the queen. So the queen falls. So queen takes d7. This should just be complete. Oh, they didn't take the free queen, so didn't want the queen. Now black is just crushing, I think. Right? I mean, look at this H file. That's just gross. And queen here as well. Oh, queen check. Queen check is disgusting. Oh, and they find it. Beautiful move from black. Yeah, Tasabu didn't want the free queen. And now look at what they've done. They're getting mated. They're getting absolutely mated on the board. You block here. I mean, you could block here first. Take, block here, check. King here is forced. And then the second rook comes into h2. GG. So that is game over. Tasabu might be realizing that as we speak. Let's look at another game. We haven't looked at this one yet. Something Stranger versus DKT King 69. So I guess Florida State has 2 players with the 69 number in their username. That's always fun. Just thought I'd mention that, point that out. 92 threatens a fork as well as just hitting the bishop. This bishop's opposite black's king, and with the rook here, there's a little bit of pressure on f7, but it's not so easy to say how they're going to go for that. So this bishop definitely has to move. They go here. So they want to take, and they want to bring the knight into d6, putting even more pressure on f7. So this is actually a pretty solid move. Probably you take this, actually. No, it turns out it's a bad move. Because remember, the knight is threatening this fork here. So I was mistaken. I forgot the bishop was needed to defend this. So there goes the exchange. Black is also up 2 pawns, so that's going to be quite a devastating amount of material. Not to mention, Something Stranger has 250 to 18 seconds. And yeah, now that's going to trade down, and this should be a simple win. So Booker Moore won for Florida. We also have Salmon versus Hot Grill still. So what's happening here? F6, very annoying move to deal with. for black. They save the knight, but yeah, taking here is going to be crushing. King takes, there's queen check, king here, and probably pawn push or something. Black, meanwhile, is trying to attack on this side. They don't even take the pawn. They move the rook, but now probably rook f1. That's threatening checkmate very soon. So this has to be defended. You only have 2 good moves to defend this. Probably you want to go here. But yeah, I mean, the queen's going to come in. If you try to defend this, like that's... I don't know. That's really tough. So yeah, rook here. Yeah, I don't know. 30 seconds to a minute. Something Stranger won. So the top board from Northern Illinois tying things up at 1 point apiece. The queen comes into f6, hitting h6. Hello, you two can mine. How's it going? Okay, taking on d4. Now, queen h8 is checkmate on the spot. I don't see how you defend that. f6 first, but now there's like rook takes even. There's king here. You can make a new queen. King here is forced. Queen takes, or queen here is mate in 1. Or mate here as well. So Salmon taking the lead back for Florida State. Board 3, technically an upset over board 2. Although I believe, was Salmon higher rated? No, he wasn't, so that was an upset win. So now we're back to Joe Mama versus Ott. Who's going to win this one? Probably Joe Mama, who's up in exchange and a pawn. And now 2 pawns. So, yeah, this is a beautiful blockade with the pawn defending the rook cutting the king off. And it's all on light squares. So, you can actually give up the rook here if you want, but this is winning as well. Nothing white can do can make progress. You'll never be able to capture this pawn, which means you'll never be able to capture the rook, and the rook completely cuts you off forever. So last chance, push the pawn, but there goes the bishop. Push here, rook here's more than enough. So Joe Mama with the win for Florida State, and looks like Florida State's off to a good start, 3-1 against Northern Illinois. So round 2 is about to start. Northern Illinois is going to need some more production. They only got 1 point from their top board, beating Florida State's bottom board, but losses everywhere else. Joe Mama's a favorite for sure. Not only in terms of rating, but also in terms of username. All right, round 2 here is underway. We got Salmon versus Something Stranger. So both of these players won their last match in the last round, so we will see. We'll see who continues the streak. Looks like we got a 4-pawn attack from white. 4 pawns in the center. So white is definitely taking the space. Okay, bishop comes out with the pen, and the idea is if bishop take, queen takes, knight takes. So if bishop takes, maybe we'll see g takes to defend this pawn. Instead, we have bishop develop, breaking the pen, defending the knight, but also getting ready to castle. Always very solid. Black can play h6, just kick the bishop back. I don't know if it does too much, but it's there. It's an option. We do see the capture on f3. Pawn takes, and now e5. So after the knight is gone, black plays e5, and white could have taken two different ways. They instead opt for e5. Now the knight can come into d4 and attack the knight here. Otherwise, you have to go back. Maybe you go here, but probably not best to put the knight on the side. Definitely not back here. So yeah, d4 most active for sure. Just putting pressure on the f3 bishop. Now white could take on e5 and try to open up the f file. They decide to castle first. So it takes here, probably takes with queen, activating this piece. And this is actually kind of dangerous. If yeah, like f takes right now, you can give up the bishop because then you get the knight. Instead, they opt to go backwards. Now, e takes f4 is really annoying for white. Black did not play this. The idea is that if we take back, we can get forked on g5. So, nope. Instead, queen gets out of this pin, pawn takes, and black cannot take back on e5 because white is now threatening to take twice here on f6 now that the queen is no longer defending and that the queen and rook are opened up in the f file. So now we can take more material here for white. This is now winning a pawn. So it looks like Salmon is in a bit of a struggle here, down a pawn in this position. Very solid for white. Knight here on e5, this is a really good square. You don't really want to give up your bishop, so the queen moves instead. The idea is that this bishop is a really good defender of the king. So white wants to leave this bishop around to potentially trade for this bishop. This is a really good outpost square though. So what white needs to do, well, first off, ooh, they take here. I'm not a big fan of this. So bishop takes. Yeah, the knight and the rook were both attacking this square. I guess it wasn't too easy to defend this because if you pushed, probably they were afraid that their rook would hang, but you would be fine giving up the rook for the bishop because you also would get their knight if they sacrificed it. So you get two pieces for the exchange, which is, or not for the exchange, for the rook, which would be good for white. So instead they traded here, and now they brought the knight back to defend this pawn. I'm not a fan of how this is being played, but this rook needs to leave the corner. You see how much better this bishop is now that we traded off our bishop for their knight. So now this bishop's in an immaculate square. The rook has moved though, and this knight needs to contest the e5 square somehow. So probably knight to g4 somehow. g4 to attack this bishop. Black meanwhile is just putting pressure on c4. Probably you want to play b3 now to defend this. Knight here instead, defending this way. It's interesting. Let's check out Hot Grill versus DKT King. Okay, bishop takes here on f6. Taking here, this pawn is pinned. So white's popping off here. They're playing some really good moves. White is actually up a pawn, and this king is a bit exposed now with this capture on f6 here. So black has an uphill battle to climb. Probably just taking here is best, I would assume. Both players with about 3 minutes on the clock. This is looking good for Hot Grill, for Austin. Let's check out Joe Mama. How's Joe Mama doing? Oh, wait. Rook takes. Yeah, this is hit. This is hit. This is hit. And hit. And hit. So yeah, it takes here. So, oh, bishop d5 though with the pin. If you go king here, there's rook here. So what exactly is the material count? Material right now? I mean, white's just going to be up in exchange. You have to play knight here. You have to. There's really no other move. But yeah, Joe Mama should be winning this against the leader. Oh, taking here. This is not best. Bishop takes with check. King over, and now could take that. Instead, they take here. This is also totally fine. Bishop here forces a trade, so white's just going to be up a rook. That's going to be an easy win for Joe Mama. All right. Let's go back. Let's check out Booker Moore versus Ott. Is this pawn hanging? Yes, queen takes d3 on the board. Now the bishop's hanging. Probably you want to play rook to d1 to defend, but also threaten discoveries on the queen. So that's exactly what they do. Knight here, is that a move? Probably not. There's probably rook here with the pen, so that's annoying. Or no, I guess you would have rook takes. I don't know, maybe this was a move. Queen comes all the way back. Bishop takes h6. Wow. Why? How does this work? Oh, discovery on the queen. Yeah. Okay. So that's a pawn for white. So Booker Moore takes there, takes on g7. That's a strong defender of the king here. So queen or king takes, maybe even knight takes could have been a thing. So yeah, the queen, I don't know. Queen went all the way back. I don't know if there's a better place to put it. But the material has been rebalanced and even. I actually don't know who's winning this. This is a strong bishop, but this is also a good knight. Knight here. Is knight here a thing? There's queen check to get out of it. Yeah, maybe king takes was better here. So, okay, rook here, doubling up. I think c5 is a good move at some point, because then you open up the queen for checks, but also you're threatening c4, which puts the bishop here. Maybe the bishop's better placed here anyways, though. So who knows? Yeah, bishop here would actually threaten to take this. You'd have to take with the rook. So queen here, getting off this. Maybe controlling h4. Also threatening queen check. Could be a thing. So Joe Mama won their game. They've advanced to 2 out of 2. Yeah, queen check's really annoying. You have to block with something. So what do you block with? Knight here is going to be very annoying as well. Knight here is going to be a fork. So yeah, I think white missed this. If you block with queen, queen takes, and no matter how you take with the king or the rook, there's going to be knight e3. Very annoying. Although, I guess to be fair, if they take with rook and knight here, rook takes. Oh, black goes with e4. This is very peculiar now, actually. e4, I mean, I guess the threat is to just go here. I suppose. Can we do this now? There is rook check? Huh. Rook lift. Yeah, black had better. Okay, tripled up here, which is annoying, but this is a fork again. But then there's this check. Knight e3, rook check, king over. I'm not entirely sure what to make with. Oh, offering queen trade. Okay, so that's why the rook went up. But now there's no knight e3. But the rook is supporting this pawn. They're trying to advance and promote. Let's look at Hot Grill down to their last 8 seconds. White is up in exchange, though, for a pawn. Queen's looking at check. And if you block with the rook, there's mate. So rook here preventing check and attacking the knight. So now the knight needs to go back to g6. They do so. Queen over. Yeah, this is a very interesting position, but Hogrel has no time. Knight here, beautiful square for the knight. There's some checks on the g file. Yeah, I mean, white's up in exchange, but like, you cannot deal with this knight on f4. So this knight is at least worth the rook. These pawns are doubled though, which is annoying. Here, undefends the pawn. Pushing here, very interesting. I would have gone queen here. I think queen here would have potentially... No, I guess the queen's defending that. There is still takes here though. Here. Offer trade. Was queen check was winning, no? They missed queen f3 check. Queen f3 was winning for black. They completely missed. Don't go here because of fork. There goes a pawn. White's winning this now. Yeah, look at the a pawn. A pawn is a running. You don't even need to address this with the king. Just keep pushing this pawn. I mean, the king here is very safe though, I will say. This knight will not be able to check the king for many moves. Booker Moore won their game. So Florida State is running with it. Hot Girl, though, is going to get some points back here. Perhaps. King back forced. King up, and now start checking. Queen check. King here. There's no checks that black can give, so all you got to watch out for is stalemate, basically. Check. King could take. They don't. Here. Probably, yeah. Oh, giving up the queen check. Or, oh, but now knight block. Interesting, but running this pawn as well is nice. Salmon won his game. Oh my god. Florida State is running with it. Salmon, Booker Moore, Joe Mama. Okay, 2 queens on the board now. Mate very soon. Check and mate. Nice. So Hot Grill avoiding the sweep, but Florida State already up to 6 points. Yeah, I guess the rating Florida State is the favorite here. So this is a round 3 game starting here. Something Stranger versus Booker Moore. So Something Stranger just lost their first game in the last round. So they're 1 out of 2. Booker Moore is 2 out of 2. Trade on e7 here. Probably queen takes. No, knight takes. Okay. Now the knight's in attacking the bishop. Knight back to c6. Oh, this undefends c5. I thought that's why the knight went back. So, yeah. Takes, knight takes, defending this because it's attacked twice. But now knight back here. This knight's defended. This pawn is still hit twice. But black can defend it now. White could have taken it last move, but they decided not to. So we have the open F file for white's rook, which is nice. This knight needs to come out at some point. Now we have a capture on d5. Capture on d5. And now e4, d5. Hitting the bishop. Bishop goes back. Bishop c4. I like it. This is planning for e6. Knight here helps control e6. But the knight can be kicked, and it is, with the pawn to h4. So the knight goes back. Now this pawn is hanging, technically. Queen subs up right in the center. Ooh. This is weak now. We can play d6. Knight goes back. It's queen f4 even. This is looking really good for white. Both rooks in the center. So, something stranger. Going for their second point. Bring the knight in. This did hang the pawn. Okay, the pawn is still hanging, technically. Like queen takes is possible. Maybe even the best move for black, just getting a pawn back. Do they go for it? No, they don't. So now, like, e6. e6 or d6, like, they both have to be crushing, right? So there's d6. This opens up the bishop and attacks the rook. So takes. Rook takes here. Now we can take with check first, which we should do. And if king here, man, I don't know. I don't know what we would have done, but now we got to take this. Got to take this back. Yep. So now the knight's hanging. Again, we can take here. We could take with queen even. Queen takes. Oh, knight goes back. I like rook here. Rook e7. It's really tough. Or bring the knight in. Yeah, this is mate right here. So you cannot go here because you just take either of these pieces. Which means you have to defend this. How? Oh my god. There's this move. Black has to find this move. Black has to find queen b6 or it's game over. They find it. Queen b6 on the board from Booker Moore. Nice find. Forcing the queens off the board. So yeah, white's probably not too pleased with this, but to be fair, their position is still really good. So trade queens. Now probably a3. Or rook e7. But yeah, I don't know. How good is rook e7? Knight back. Now rook takes. Oh, the bishop defends that. Oh, I missed that too. Oh my god. I thought you needed to play a3 there. Wow, that's really rough for poor Booker Moore. Okay, knight here. Or rook here, I mean. No, so something's... Yeah, just trading out bishops. And yeah, that should be an easy win for the 1800. Let's check out on Salmon's game. What's happening here? Oh, bishop takes. What the heck? How did this happen? Wait, how did this happen? Oh, we got our queen kicked back, bishop here, knight block, and now d5. Really, really powerful here. For white, we have check, but we're still on a pin. We have a sacrifice on b5. You got to play bishop d7 here. This does not help at all. Wait, why didn't they take the rook? Here, now you take this. No? Am I crazy? I must be crazy. Some weird moves happening here. Rook e1 though should be lights out. Queen here, very interesting. What's wrong with taking this? This is such a bad setup for black. You need to move the queen. But this bishop and like the rook on the e-file is just gonna be lights out. So yeah, here if you go here, there's here. Nasty. So black moves. Tasabu won their game. We missed this. So DKT King is struggling. The fourth board for Florida. Let's see how Tasabu won this game. They have a capture on f5. They didn't take back here, and now bishop check, discovery on the queen. Very nicely done. So let's give a point for Tasabu, their first. So every player from Illinois has beaten the fourth board from Florida State. Something Stranger just beat Booker Moore, so that's 2 points for them. So Illinois trying to fight back. They're within 2. And there are 2 games left. We have Joe Mama versus Hot Grill. What's happening here? This position looks good for black. They got the 2 bishops. Always a favorite. We could play knight d5, attacking that bishop. Although, okay, knight d5, there's bishop takes b2. But then there's knight check. The queen comes in. They're threatening mate. Maybe it's not so good. Maybe it's not so good. I don't know. Does the bishop go all the way back to d8? I'm not sure. Do you allow the capture on f6? I think if you go for this, it's lost. Oh man, knight e7 is disgusting. If you go king here, queen is mate. So you have to go here because you don't want to allow queen check. But after this, like king h7, there's like, oh, there's queen c2. Queen c2 with the fork. Yeah, b2 was a poison pawn. So Hot Grill could bring this back with giving Joe Mama their first loss. We could see. Yeah, Something Stranger gave Booker Moore their first loss. Yeah, here and now, there's also queen d8 would have been really powerful. Yeah, takes here's winning. Only move there. So yeah, up material now for white. There is this pawn that you can get back. There's also queen here though. Knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes is a thing. Yeah, white's doing well, but these are a lot of pawns. That's a lot of pawns. I like queen f6. There's also queen e5, perhaps. The same idea, maybe. I'm playing queen f6 here, though. That's just me. Only 40 seconds, though, for Hot Grill. They gotta be speedy. Queen here, very interesting. Very interesting. I guess the idea is to go to d8. Let's check out Salmon's game versus Ott. Looks like Salmon's up material. Oh, is this a skewer? That looks like a skewer to me. I don't know. They missed. Bishop b4 was good for Ott. So now here, we can play a3. Defending. No, they go here. Now bishop b4 again. Salmon keeps trying to give an exchange back. Black's not having it. I think they want to attack the queen this way. Perhaps. What exactly is the thing that's happening here? You can go like rook here. Rook ac1 to trade rooks. So yeah, man, if Ott could get an upset here, that'd be huge. But they're missing the skewer. That'd be very huge for black. But yeah, black is down 2 outside pass pawns. So if Salmon defends bishop b4, yeah, then Salmon should win this. Salmon should win this, and Florida State will still be up 2 points. Okay, so I mean, we'll see if Hot Grill can stop Florida State's top board. So knight takes or queen takes. Knight takes, and the threat is knight f6, which actually wins the queen. Low time though for Hot Grill. Hot Grill's got to speed it up. 15 seconds to 2 minutes. Knight check, king to h6. There's another knight check if they want it. White has at least a perpetual. Black's pushing the c pawn. Hold up. Queen d2. Pawn push. Here, queen takes on c2 now. Queen takes c2. Nope, saving the knight. Interesting. There's some knight checks now. Queen here. Okay, knight e7 maybe. Okay, knight back. You do not want to take on g5 because of this discovery. But yeah, hold up. This is a big threat, no? Maybe you play knight here now. Yeah, knight here guarding the promotion square, hitting the queen as well. But this is a bit iffy. I don't know if I liked how white's playing this. This pawn is awfully close. They forgot the queen. What? Oh man, discovery check. Yeah, and then just move the knight or something. Push the pawn, take the pawn, push the pawn, move the knight. Wow, yeah, black just collapsed. They completely forgot about this queen here. They need to move the queen. Mate very soon. Pawn push, mate. Nice. All right, let's check out Salmon and Ott. So Ott, less than 20 seconds. Look at these beautiful pawns. Rook now defending this. Pawn push here is going to be inevitable. Ott's going to lose this one. So Hot Grill stopping the top board from Florida. So the two top boards are both tied at 2 points apiece. They're all 2 out of 3, but Salmon is the difference maker here. The board 3 for Florida State. 2 out of 2, looking to go 3 out of 3, and they do so, taking down Ott, the bottom board from Illinois. Yet to get any points. So Florida State, they're 1.5 points away from winning. Am I a professional chess player? I am a commentator. I'm not like a master or anything. I'm like 2100 on chess.com and Blitz. So nothing crazy, nothing special. But I am running the league. This is the Collegiate Chess League. I'm doing the commentary for all the matches. Although in the playoffs, I will be joined by stronger commentators. At least that's the plan for now. And the playoffs start in 2 weeks. So next week is the last week of the regular season. Northern Illinois, they need to win this fourth and final round 3-1 to tie. They need 3.5 or a sweep to win. Tough task ahead of them. We got the two top boards here. Something Stranger at 1800 versus Joe Mama at 1700. Pawn here threatening to kick the bishop around, so we have a5 to help protect against this. Rook here to support the b pawn push. We got all 4 games here underway. Florida State only needs 1.5 out of 4 to win. I want to look at the bottom boards. Neither of these players have won yet. So it looks like white gambited a pawn with taking here, pawn takes, knight here, knight here. Probably bishop here is best. Bishop c4, bishop here, pinning the knight now. Knight connecting the knight. So if takes, we have takes back. Bishop here pinning this knight. So both knights are pinned. Probably just castling. And if takes, you take with the pawn. And try to have to fight back another way. Okay, now you can take here with the knight. No. This, you can go bishop here still. Sorry, I forgot about the knight for a second. Kicking the bishop back first. You can take on e2. Queen takes. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. So I wonder if black could have taken here. That probably would have been a little bit better. Just grabbing material. Instead, we have bishop takes c3. So black has given up both bishops really quickly, actually. Rook b1. Punch here. Knight. Punch here. And go bishop back. Yeah. And bishop here also is annoying to deal with. But rook gets to the open e-file, which is fine. Let's check out the captains of each team. Tasabu and Salmon. Both board 3s. What's interesting is the first match we watched today, the board 3s were also both captains. So maybe the captains are just naturally board 3s. At least that's what it is so far today. Knight takes here. Looks like it's free. We have a trade on g7 first. Does the knight dare take this and allow a lot of tempo? Perhaps. I would take that. I think it's a free pawn. And then knight here maybe is good. So yeah, rook b8. Do you dare take this pawn as well? I think that's where I would draw the line. I think at that point it's a bit too much. You could try to save the knight, but I think it's gonna be trapped there. So don't take on a7. No, it took on a7. Oh no. I mean, you can go like rook a8 even, and if the knight saves itself, you take on a2. It's a very valuable pawn in terms of this king's safety. Actually, already threatening checkmate in one move. So, yeah, if you try to save the knight, like let's say you go here, then queen here just attacks it yet again, and you're kind of in a predicament there. So, okay, yeah, here, but now there's this, and if this, then again, something like this or this. So probably you don't want to go here though, because there is knight here if rook takes, knight takes, but okay, going here instead, still really good for black. And now after rook takes, there's the queen here as well. The queen does defend this, but the queen can get kicked out easily. I guess you can go here though, but still, like rook check. Life is difficult after you take on a7. So Tasabu could not resist the lure of the free a7 pawn, but now it comes at a cost. It was not in fact free, it was poisoned all along. The knight on a7 is cooked. So what to do at this point? Probably you want to bring the bishop back and you want to play for f4, but yeah, you also have to guard this pawn. So all right, with that, if Salmon wins this, Florida State cannot lose this match. The best Northern Illinois could do is to tie the match. So let's see. Hot Grill here, 2 out of 3 up against Booker Moore, who's also 2 out of 3. Looks like we have an attack on the rook here, as well as the pawns. A lot of pressure on this pawn. So the rook should move. Computer likes rook takes f3, which makes sense because you ruin the pawn structure, you get knight takes, you're threatening fork. A lot of tempo. Yeah, if knight takes, trying to defend this, you have queen takes, knight takes, fork. So black does not go for that. That's kind of a more advanced exchange sacrifice to see. Not so easy. So now white should take on d4 for sure. Now maybe bishop to c5. But now maybe c3. c3 is the move. There's also like rook defending. Also, you don't really need to defend it. Yeah, you can just attack here. So black should take twice though. I think that's a free pawn. I don't think that was a good move from white. So Hot Grill's looking good. They're up a pawn. They got tempo on the queen. Let's check out the top boards. What's happening here? Ooh, I like black because of these knights. Much more active. So this is checkmate in one move. So how do you defend that? Knight here, but now there's knight takes. This wins material for black. Knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and we're still threatening mates. Now the bishop has to move. Backwards. No, the bishop's pinned. The bishop literally cannot move. So we're threatening mate. Ooh, that's not good either. I would probably just take this. Or you could just not react. So yeah, knight takes, you cash out. Queen takes, king takes. And now I would go maybe rook b8. This rook's very passive. Honestly, so is this rook. So rook left. Oh, skewer, but you have check. Check gets you out of the skewer. Yep, there it is. Now you gotta save this rook next. Yep. There it is. There's rook b8 contesting white's rook. So probably you go here, hitting this. And now maybe you defend it. Let's check on the fourth boards. Let's see who's winning this. Ooh. Black is winning this. Well, maybe there's a stalemate. Maybe there's a stalemate. I doubt it, but maybe. Queen takes. King back. What else? No, king takes pawn. Okay. I guess that makes sense. You could take another pawn. Or not. Yeah, they're going fast now. There's going to be a second queen on the board, but remember, you don't want to stalemate. Don't want to stalemate. Pawn check. You can promote. Yep. Now just give everything with check. There's one. There's mate. Okay, there's two. Queen here would be close to stalemate. Queen here is stalemate. So don't do that. Check. Check. That's mate. Check. That's mate. Oh. Here. Check and mate. Yeah, easy. DKT King with the win ensures the draw for Florida State. So the bottom board gets their first point. Not getting shut out. Ott, unfortunately, can't say the same. Let's check on the captains here. Who's winning? So I remember Sam was doing well. This bishop looks strong, though. Pawn takes here. So Salmon is up a material, I guess. Okay, push this guy. It's kind of peculiar. Oh yeah, Salmon's up a piece. I guess it's a piece for 2 pawns. So, not too shabby. Rook lifts. Pressure on the pawn. Knight here, yeah, it hits bishop and rook. It's kind of annoying. Rook here, now knight takes, right? No, knight takes is like the rook is hanging now, and if you trade rooks, knight takes back, so black just wins another piece. Yeah, take with the knight here. Yep. So up 2 whole knights is Salmon, and that should be more than enough to win. Although both players less than 40 seconds, bit of time pressure. Speaking of, let's check in with Hot Grill. Only 40 seconds for them. What's happening here? This is attacking that. This is defending that. That's attacking this. Wait, what? Wait, what was that move? You're not promoting this pawn. Knight. Yeah, I think black just completely... Black had a free rook, dude. And takes, you have pawn takes. That is so sad. Oh, poor Hot Grill. Complete collapse there, perhaps in time pressure. Let's check in on the top boards. I mean, Northern Illinois could still tie if they win out. They have to win every single game. So Joe Mama doesn't look too hot here, though. I think this is where we should watch for now. It looks like white should win this. Or, I mean, black. Black should win this. Black is up 2 entire knights. 2 knights. White's got 2 passed pawns, though. Okay, the knight's hit. There's knight c7 check. King c6, walking on up. Hold up, king here. You can sack the rook for 2. Oh, trading rooks. Hold on, pawn takes, though. Knight check. There was rook takes, king take. Wait, whoa. That was a free knight, my friend. That was what I call a free knight. Push this guy. What is happening in this game? Salmon has low time. Salmon could flag. There goes the knight. There goes the knight. Rook check. Rook block. If knight takes, pawn takes. Oh my god. Oh my god. White's winning. White is winning. No way. No way. Up 2 knights. To Sabu with the biggest comeback. There's a fork. There's rook. Oh, what a pre-move. Oh my god, Salmon with a huge comeback after completely blundering the position. Rook block. Tasabu missed it. They pre-moved queen takes. Oh my god. What am I witnessing? Booker beat Hot Grill, so it doesn't even matter. Salmon won their game. Salmon is at a flawless 4 out of 4. Is that right? And Something Stranger just beat Joe Mama. Okay. Wow. Final score 6-10. Northern Illinois gets handed their first loss of the season. That was a wild game from them. Really quickly to see this game here, how this finished. We had 4 pawns versus a bishop. Look at this massive pawn structure from Something Stranger. So Something Stranger up in exchange here. Trading down. Takes the knight. So now it's rook versus 2 bishops, but now taking here. Yeah. So 4 pawns versus the bishop. Just box the king out. Pushing these pawns, and you have the bishops trapped. Check, and made very nice finish from Something Stranger. And going over this game, we had a flag to end this one. Yeah, I don't know what possessed black to take on c2. But they did. And let's see. Yeah, black just ran out of time. Yeah, we got U Chicago versus Mizzou coming up next. These are 2 strong teams in Division 1. But yeah, congrats to Florida State getting a big win over Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois was the leader. They probably still are, but I'm not so sure. Florida State, big win. So congrats to Florida State. A really strong performance against their division leader. And yeah, it was a fun match. We had that crazy game here. I mean, Tasabu, didn't mean to click on that. Tasabu was down 2 whole knights. I mean, rook takes, knight takes. And here, for Tasabu to bring it as close as they brought it. Wait, what just happened here? What? What did I miss in this game? You give up a queen to then give up the queen again. Oh no. What is this game? You guys were in perpetual time pressure. Oh my god. But yeah, like look at this. Knight check, there's king takes c7. This is winning for white. Check, and then you blunder this guy. And now white's winning. White's up a queen for a rook, and then right here they missed the block. But yeah, that's absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. So I don't know, man. Salmon was up 2 knights. They should win. Then they blunder their queen. They should lose. And then they get the queen back, so then they should win. And then they blunder the knight, and then they were losing. And then white promoted a queen and was winning. And then Salmon won the queen back. So yeah, absolutely wild stuff. But yeah, that's that match. 6-10 final score for Florida State.